What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Mode Studios with another weekly episode of Leveling Up, where every week I come at you to help you with your mindset, to deliver inspiration, motivation, and just different tactics and strategies that you can utilize to grow by leveling up in every aspect of your life, right? So today I'm here to talk to you about how to quiet the voice, that inner voice inside your head. Now, before you freak out when I say that, we all have a voice that is in our head that is talking to us 24/7, right? Some people are like, oh, you're talking to yourself, man. You're fucking crazy. You got to go to the psych ward, right? But think about it, man. Like when you're getting ready to, whatever, maybe you're getting ready to go to bed, get up in the morning. It's early, your alarm goes off. A voice in your head might tell you, oh, I don't want to get up. I'm tired, right? Like I just want to sleep in. You choose to listen to that voice, or you choose to get your ass out of bed. Going to do some tasks at work, some hard shit, whatever. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't like doing this, man. What happened? Like that voice is always going, right? Everybody has it. You got to learn it to get control of this voice. You got to learn to quiet it down so you can stay in action in any aspect of your life. And I'm going to break down and give you some different tips and things I've done to quiet that damn voice. But real quick, before I do that and get on into that, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure to subscribe below. Hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, the bell will pop up. Click that bell, which will then alert you every time we release one of these new episodes, that we don't miss any content. If you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere on the audio podcast, make sure to give us a 5-star raving review. All of those things, I know they're a pain in the ass to do, but all of those things help us continue to grow this channel and this podcast. It allows us to get more eyeballs, more views on the channel, as well as allows us to interview and get higher level guests on the show where I can pick their brain and deliver all that great knowledge and information for free to all of you. And plus, I want to interview them and learn myself, right? So that's how you can support the show, and I truly appreciate that and truly appreciate your support. All right, let's jump on into the content. So the first thing is, number one, just having awareness that voice exists. There's a great book out there called Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden. And in that book, he calls that voice Mr. M. So he's like, imagine and picture a doll sitting on your shoulder, right? And he calls it Mr. M for Mr. Mediocrity, right? He classifies it that voice whisper in your head is not you. It's the domestication of society to get you to play small. That's what those whispers are, right? Because if you are talking, well, then who the hell is listening? So a book that I recently read that is just a mind-blowing, insane book. I highly recommend that you read it. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So inside this book, and this is a deep-level book on just how to get clarity on who you are. If you ask that at a core, like, who am I? Who am I as a person? Like, am I Joshua Smith? Right? Well, Joshua Smith is just a series of letters written on a piece of paper. Is that who I am? Yeah, right? Then I could be like, oh, well, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a real estate agent. Well, really? Or before I had kids, who was I then? Yeah, right? Like I'm the same person before those life events came up, right? So who are we at the core, right? Well, you are the person that is the watcher. You are the one that is experiencing this life. So he goes pretty deep into this, talks about how, we're spiritual beings that are just having a human experience, and he can illustrate and articulate it so much better than I can in that book. But the biggest takeaways that I had, right, is number one, you got to have awareness of that voice, right? Because with our mind, so whether you want to call it voice or thoughts that are across your mind, you have over 60,000 thoughts just flying through your mind every single day. And you hear some of these gurus out there that'll say, oh, well, just think more positive. And I'm not saying that you can't over time increase the number of positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. But the reality is we're going to have negative thoughts. That's going to fucking happen. Or we're going to have times where that voice is telling us not to do shit that we need to do, right? But you got to understand that voice isn't you. You are the one that's listening. Those 60,000 thoughts are just coming in here. It's your choice to choose to listen to them or not, right? So the number one is just having the awareness, right? So with anything that you're doing, while you're watching this, maybe you get distracted and that voice is like, oh shit, I got to do this, or I got to have this going on. Or when you're in the shower, and while you're in the shower, that voice is, you're thinking about a meeting and you're talking to yourself about this meeting you got to prep for the day, whatever. So the first step is just to have awareness of it. Right? So have awareness that voice is always there, that it's taking place, and have awareness of what it's saying. But then the second part of this of awareness is understanding and being aware that voice isn't you. So again, you can choose to listen to it or not. You can choose to shut it down or not. But then from there, we got to work on quieting that voice. And this is really the whole point of meditation. Maybe you like to meditate, maybe you don't. Right? I'm not going to make this about meditation, but meditation is a good way to learn to quiet that voice so you can operate more in the moment without all that chatter taking place. But a good way to start, and this is something I'm stealing from Michael Singer out of The Untethered Soul, he's like, dude, like when you're in the shower, right? At first, like you're having awareness of the voice, but then once you have the awareness of it, then while you're taking a shower, just for that few minutes every morning or 5 minutes, however long you shower for, right? Just try to be present in the shower. Right, just focus on the water hitting you, hitting your skin, right, going through that, and just focusing on what you're doing in that shower, just for a few minutes that you're in there, right? And by doing that, right, you then control that voice. You get, like anything, if you want to facilitate change in any aspect of your life, you've got to take control over it. So you can slow that voice down, right? And then there's times where now you have control where you can shut that voice off. Right? And even if you don't want to take the path of having to quiet the voice, shut down the voice, start meditating, if nothing else, just by having awareness of it. Because every single morning when my alarm clock goes off, right, when I got to get out of bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, whatever time I'm getting up in the morning, I rise pretty early, some mornings it's 3, some mornings it's 4. I never want to get out of bed at that time. That voice is always telling me, oh my God, I don't want to get up. Just stay in bed. Dude, you don't have to get up. You can get all this shit done later. Right? That voice is talking to me. Right? I have to pick and choose because I know that voice isn't me. I'm the one listening to the voice. I'm the one the receiver of that message. I have to pick and choose whether I want to listen to it or not. Right? So then at that moment, I go into what my goals are. Right? So, okay, hey, here are my main outcomes for 2020. Here's my health outcome, my family outcome, my business outcomes. Like here's all the outcomes in every aspect of my life that's important to me. Is what this voice saying, does that align with what I should do to execute on activities to allow me to hit these goals? Yes or no? Right? Because it's very simple. Anything that doesn't get me one step closer to the goals that I need to create needs to become a hell no. It's either a hell yes or a hell no. Right? It's that simple. Right? So once I have awareness of that, what the voice is, I can then just tell that voice to shut the fuck up. Right? Because how many times have you listened to that inner voice and it's led you down a bad decision, right? It's happened for me, many fucking times. Oh man, I'm kind of tired, I just need a break. Let me just go across the street to the restaurant and bar and have a meal and have a couple cocktails, right? Well, that couple cocktails leads to fucking 8 later and a couple hours later, now I didn't get shit done at the office. Right? Or whatever, man. That inner voice has fucked me way more than it's helped me. So if I gave you a ton of bad advice, if you were watching this channel, I kept giving you bad advice, let's just say 3, 4, 5 dozen times, you execute that bad advice, eventually you're going to be like, dude, this Joshua Smith guy gives a bunch of shitty advice. I'm going to stop watching. I'm going to stop listening to his advice, right? So think of it that way. Like how many times has that voice, and you've chosen to listen to it, just royally fucked you? Right? It detracted you from getting in the shape that you want to get into. It detracted you from, asking your dream client to do business with you or asking that dream girl or dream guy on a date or whatever, right? Because that voice chattered something else and you chose to listen to that voice. It usually isn't giving you good advice, right? So choose to listen to it when it's good advice, and it's good advice when it aligns with your goals. Sometimes that voice can be good, right? Most times it's not. It's negative. It's bad. It's doing the opposite of what you're looking to do, right? Just think of that voice as just advice. And this is how you quiet it down, right? Like I said, you can do deep work, but it's like anything, man. You got to flex that muscle. You got to work that muscle, get those reps in each and every morning where then you can make that voice become still, which is the work I'm doing very deeply on now in my life, right? Just getting to the point where I have full control of that voice, or as much control as I possibly can. Who knows if I'll have full control over it. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility or not, but even if you don't want to do that deeper level work, just having the awareness, and if you just operate and think of it as this is just an outside source giving me a piece of advice, because it's not you. Because again, if it's talking, who's listening? You are the one listening, not the one talking. So this is no different than if your brother or your sister or somebody else was giving, your spouse was giving you advice, right? Is it advice you're going to choose to listen to or not? And when you have very clearly defined goals and outcomes that you want to achieve, that voice, the advice in that voice, like you have to be responsible enough to ask yourself, hey, is that voice, whatever that voice is telling me right now, aligning with my goals, yes or no? And if it's either a hell yes or a hell no, it's that simplistic. All right, guys, I hope that you found this helpful. I know it's a little woo-woo and a little kind of a freaky topic, but it's a real thing, and there's a lot of power in taking this for what it is and treating this as a legitimate issue and getting serious about this. I'm promising there'll be so much power that will be gained from this. So quiet that voice, and real quick before I leave, make sure to check us out at gsdmode.com, where you can see more great episodes like this, plus our weekly real estate tips, plus our podcast interviews with top entrepreneurs, top real estate professionals, plus a ton of other just free great resources on to help you grow your life, grow your business. Make sure to check out, if you're a real estate agent looking to grow your business, check out my online 3-hour in-depth masterclass at growmyrealestatebusiness.com. And lastly, make sure to jump into the private Facebook GSD Mode podcast group. There's going to be links below for all of this, but in that Facebook group, it's a safe place to just be able to mastermind with other like-minded people from all over the planet that are going through trying to level up and going through the challenges just like you're going through, where we can have a safe place to talk, communicate, ask for help, ideas, share, all of that stuff. We have a very strict no selling policy in there. Second, anybody self-promotes, they're kicked out, deleted, banned, all of that, so you don't have to worry about any of that junk. So all those links will be right below wherever you're watching and listening. And again, thank you so much for watching and listening today, you guys. Keep kicking ass, keep leveling up, and I'll see you next time. Peace.